When your back is against the wall, that's when you're going to truly shine. Assalamu alaikum. Some of you are trying to achieve your fitness goals, your business goals, whatever other goals you may have, but you don't have enough pressure, you don't have enough urgency. And it's funny because a lot of people avoid pressure these days because pressure doesn't always feel good. It's definitely not comfortable. But pressure is what creates diamonds, and pressure is also what breaks pipes. So are you going to be a diamond or are you going to be a pipe? Because when you cut a diamond, the diamond doesn't feel good. The thing is getting grinded up by really sharp blades. But at the end of that, you have a beautiful diamond that's worth a lot more than a broken pipe. But if you're going to be a broken pipe and get destroyed by pressure, then you're never going to win in life. And I say this to myself too, because I've always been somebody who avoided pressure. Yet the funny thing is that all my greatest achievements came from massive pressure. You guys know I always reflect on the hadith and share with you guys that when Allah wills good for someone, He afflicts them with trials. So why is that? And the analogy I always tell you is that if you had a muscle you want to grow, if you want your chest to grow, are you going to never bench press because you don't want to make your chest uncomfortable? No, you're going to really put extra effort into your bench press. You're going to put your chest through all kinds of burn and pain and heavy weights that you know it can handle, but if it can barely handle, then expand its comfort zone without injuring yourself. And that's what Allah does to you. Allah isn't going to break you to the point of not being able to be fixed. Allah is going to break you down to the point where you have pushed your maximum limit, but you can rebuild stronger, and you do rebuild stronger. So likewise with the muscle, you train it to a certain level and then you rebuild it with the right nutrition. And like I always say, Allah is going to give you the right nutrition. You may not see it at that moment. Your chest muscle might be like, wow, that really was obliteration, I'm so sore. But as soon as you get that protein shake in, as soon as you get those complex carbs and lean proteins after your workout, boom, you start growing and it repairs, and then it super compensates stronger and bigger than ever. And before you know it, you compound that over years and years and you have an amazing physique. And you do that to all your muscles, you're going to have a bulletproof body. So likewise, Allah is building you a bulletproof mind. And I want you to embrace pressure, because if you don't embrace pressure, then it's just, you're not going to get the gift. You're just going to get the pain. And I know that a lot of you are in pain right now. You might be pain because your business is going well, but your family situation is not, because you've been spending too much time on your business. You might be doing well with your business and your family, but you haven't spent enough time on yourself, and your mental and physical health is destroyed. You're burnt out, you're fat, you're 30 pounds heavier than you were before you got married and all that stuff, or maybe even worse. And you're trying to get it back. Maybe you've lost some weight on your own, but you still have the soft physique, the spare tire, you have to hide your belly. You feel self-conscious when you sit down, it looks like you're super fat. I know how all these things feel because I felt all the same ways as well. And that was really what pushed me to finally start taking my fitness seriously and push it to the next level, which is what brought about the realization that discipline is easier than laziness. It was hard those days where I felt resentful to myself and everybody around me that I wasn't taking my fitness seriously and doing what I needed to do and living in accordance with the highest and best version of myself. It hurt that I was this person with bad habits and bad decision making who would give into indulgence and eat a bunch of junk food at the end of every stressful day of work. And even after a day of winning at work, I would reward myself with unhealthy food only to damage my physique. And I know how it feels to have the results of all that, which is feeling fat. No matter what shirt you wear, you can't hide your big belly. And you try to tell yourself you're okay with it. And maybe you even accept it for periods of time, only to wake up one day and be like, why am I accepting this low standard for myself? So what I want to tell you guys is, no matter what you are going through right now, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, financial, anything, Allah is giving you this test to build you, not to break you. But part of building you requires you to be broken. The only way you're going to break past your past limitations is by pushing them, and the only way that you're going to push them is by going through some stress testing. So I want you to decide today, when you feel the pressure, not to avoid it and not to be a broken pipe that bursts from the pressure, but to be a diamond that gets formed and cut by the pressure. The pain makes you better instead of making you bitter. And that's what today's video is all about. So whoever you are, get motivated, go conquer, arise stronger from these challenges, and be grateful to Allah that He's honored you with the opportunity to get better every single day. Assalamu alaikum.